inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how sneeze again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colores, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So not forget to join me on Monday to Friday, both Facebook and YouTube. Usai we go bring to una different guests them where they can help for talk about the newspaper. We are channel for the voice of the voiceless.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how sneeze again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colores, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So not forget to join me on Monday to Friday, both Facebook and YouTube. Usai we go bring to una different guests them where they can help for talk about the newspaper. We are channel for the voice of the voiceless.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how sneeze again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colores, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So not forget to
Good morning and welcome to another edition of a program where we call Colores. Right on we are on YouTube and on Facebook so we can discuss issue them where the front page of the different newspaper then they carry for the day. And after we can carry it, we get them inside where you can help we for that we discuss the different issues then when the paper they don't carry. We go straight and begin look at the front page of the newspaper then. The first one where we see now the screen this morning Focus 24/7. Wimsal partners with First Lady for more women empowerment. Guild of Editors strengthening ties with new information ministers. And you as well get other issues then to address street trading in CBD. NASIT update the media on 7 grams market progress. Go to the next paper, we're Beyond Borders. We say improving the fisheries and marine resources. New fisheries minister inspect Tumbo outstation. And you as well get Parliament conduct 2023 induction program for MPs. Why read Beyond Borders and different other stories than for inside this edition. The Premier News say political stalemate, Commonwealth urge dialogue. Kisidom site is lifeline for over 500 scavengers. And man jailed for damaging, billboard of President Bio's photo. Every Man Theatre raises £15,000 to build nursery in Sierra Leone. African 24, fuel increase, Buhaha, Sierra Leoneans not happy. PC and Sons, upholding quality and commitment amidst controversy, the truism of our tourism nightmare. Global Times, NCRA commemorates 6th Africa CRVS Day, Niger Coup, ECOWAS to use force. Kush kills faster than disease. Honorable Robin Fale takes President Bio's 5 big game changer to the people of Sierra Leone. The Calabash newspaper, drafting subversion plot, military and police personnel implicated. Commonwealth urged political parties. This is another story for inside this edition of the Calabash. And the Salon Times newspaper, amidst political tension, Commonwealth calls on Salon politicians to honor peace pledge. In commemorating August 10th anniversary, Bio advises Sierra Leoneans to reject violence and lawlessness. Journalists tour Nazis constructed market stalls at Sewa grounds. Voice of Salon newspaper. For breach of agreement, NGC to drag SLPP to court. APC Secretary General fires back. Amidst controversy, PC and Sons remain steadfast in upholding quality of its products. And the Islamic Development Bank inspects rice value chain project in Toma Bom. The next paper, now the Drone newspaper, will say in addressing Niger Coup, analysts question hypocrisy of ECOWAS. The Heritage newspaper, net page passport contract conflicting, unrealistic, deceptive. And Petit Trader win official mega promotion. Several grounds market to be completed soon. The Compass newspaper, August 10th commemoration. No justice for the murder. Perpetrators held. Victims jailed. Several grounds market ready in September. Project manager assures. Women's voice. For development and progress, gender minister urged women to embrace love. Petit Traders win official mega promo TVS motorbike. UK High Commissioner visit Foreign Affairs Minister. The Owl newspaper, failure to adhere to directive of his people constituency 129 disown their MP. In Sierra Leone, Metro Cable Africa expand fiber and internet to homes and businesses. Awareness Times newspaper, as Dr. Babatunde Ahosi pays homage to Minister Kenya Bale, Maada Bio's 5 big enjoys UN support. Youth Minister should take policy paper against Kush to cabinet, says Honorable Emerson Lamina. Apex newspaper, subversion, 19 arrested, manhunt continues. Women empowerment, First Lady and Winsal forge vital partnership. Public review, for alleged coup, police arrest 17. Disciplinary action against defiant MPs, APC Secretary General says. Commonwealth Secretary General calls for political dialogue. The Sky Times newspaper, with painful wounds still not healed, Sierra Leone needs meaningful dialogue. Its election review committee, a whitewash of its flaws. This is another story for inside this edition of Sky Times. The Nature Forest Guards call for more trees to be planted. Government to remove 35 million petroleum and subsidy, and mining accident claimed 1 in Kono district. Devastating wildfire spur new detection system. The Aiko newspaper, NCRA celebrates 6th Africa GRVS Day, Advancing Vital Statistics Digitally. Sierra Leone Police issue stern warning to potential protesters. Abacha street traders set for mid-October relocation to Sewa grounds. Kenema Mayor Chairman and Councillor pledge to deliver enhanced service. Fact checkers Honorable Peter Bayoko Conte. Concord Times newspaper, the last paper for this morning. Military intervention in Niger imminent. Speaker, Parliament is not a money-making enterprise. Metro Cable Africa expand fiber internet infrastructure to Sierra Leone. Students recognize Tabital Puluka, President Jules Saw. This another story for you inside this edition of the Concord Times newspaper. We'll take a very short break and bring we guests inside the program.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how news again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all.
Alright, welcome back to the program where we call Colors right on we are on YouTube and Facebook. We get Psycho we don't generate inside the program this morning like always. Psycho not a new face or new name inside the program. So it don't join me inside the program today for we actually discuss issues the way the front page of the newspaper don't carry. Psycho, welcome to the program this morning.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, my brother.
Okay, so how programs so far from your own side? In terms of the same advocacy, the same, voice for the people and all. Tell me about the program.
Then and now, well, we did continue, still we did continue, because this job, for relent. I mean, you get for challenges day, especially when you say you did talk, voting some man afraid for talk. Like things where you feel say wrong based on evidence, or things where you feel say right based on evidence. If you say they point them out, at the end of the day, the truth get for hurt so many people, and then they then go definitely come after you. And or maybe if you say certain things, say, well, okay, this is wrong, you point them out, it will hurt other people while other people go gladly. Definitely then get for come after you. But a sacrifice where you for make and you talk, make them come after you, posterity go always judge, it go vindicate you all the time.
Okay, so since you begin talking about that particular issue there, let's start with this big thing where, because only they use your mouth, then and now for discuss issues them, but they as well they use your hand for write. You can write the social media, you can write article them, and you be not begin to use your hand before this pen for write different things then. So let's start with this thing, because you now be one of the people that will begin for talk about this issue. Where now Maada join the discussion for the Niger coup. Also ECOWAS the tower on Niger coup leaders them for letting them step aside, or else they use force on them. What do you think about the involvement of Sierra Leone into that coup discussion?
Oh well, when I do an article when ECOWAS be say then they like, well, if the Nigerian army they no reverse the coup, they no hand over to Mohamed Bazoum, well, then go intervene militarily. So I've been just take a holistic look, especially when elections been just done as alone. We've been get again evidence-based idea where EU, Carter Center, and the other organizations, then the US them be really like, okay, with new, them be really say the elections not been transparent, not been well, therefore it's not like credible transparency more, because transparency na the bedrock of democracy. Okay, it lead to acceptability. So well, again we see like Nigeria, for example, let's say the big brother in Africa or West Africa. We see them back then. Tinubu in a court. We know back within the international observers they may say. So to me, I be say okay. Well, I just see them as they not get the moral grounds. This is not about only Sierra Leone. It's about the question the leadership, the leaders the way can power through what I describe as electoral coup d'etat. Because they try to make a connection between say, okay, the military use the gun for kind of power, where you then deprive the citizens for elect their leaders, while in the democracy setting or democratic setting, the people the way they elect force, maybe for example, or they come to power through manipulation of the laws of the country. At the same time, you find out the same element is they can power through depriving the citizens of getting the leaders where they want.
So like the military use gun for kind of power, whilst they use institutional,
Exactly.
weapon for kind of power.
Interesting thing in terms of the democratic coup, how me take them. This is my opinion. Then they use both. Then they use the institutions. Let's say, for example, like the electoral commissions. Then they use the police for intimidate citizens. Then they use the military. Maybe they invoke whether if na MACP or whatever. It depends on the country which side they. Because even Nigeria, they can bring in military police for help. So if they find out, say then they use their structures them for intimidate citizens, them for let ballot stuffing take place, for let irregularities take place. When they announce that crooked and cooked results elections, which election result, then they bring this police and military back in the street for suppress the people and maybe then cook up so many things for silence those who are disenfranchised and those who have been bullied, then thing in this. So if they find out say then and the military difference not they much.
So in other words, they all are the same people and so that for talk to in company.
Yeah, so but the only thing now, like what me see again, I now especially now when the time where this military coup happen, we see pressure, international pressure being the mount on then democratically elected leaders. So it depends on how you look at us. Some man they say no, not to democratically elected leaders, but I just the talk put on that way. So now you see international community the question when they ask say okay, we not do this, we not do that. But you find out say where this coup come, I think say the coup in Niger give some of them leaders here opportunity for able to escape that pressure by now putting pressure, say no they agree with the reverse constitutionality because the interest, again, I've been talking on this because the interest of the West, especially the US and France and Europe, now it don't be threatened na Niger. So now they are there to do the dirty job for appease the leaders, them people here were being they actually put pressure, say, okay, but we need for whole free and fair elections. Because even though arguably some mandatory say free and fair elections no dey, but then we tell you say no, we not get for be transparent in una dealings or in the elections process, we not get for respect una laws. We find out say now with this imminent invasion na Niger, that pressure where the international community been put on them government then don't reduce. So they find out say they don't get something like more or less escape routes. Well, I don't know how long that route they last, but they find out say then they don't die down, and now France or other side and then go there say okay now I would support you now to reverse that coup.
So in other words, now everybody they can begin getting on cabal. The military coup plotters them they can hold themselves together, whilst the one them way now democratic coup plotters themselves they hold themselves together. All my only on.
Yeah, more or less now like then kind of way because if you see the list way Guinea, then they talk, condemn, sanction, blah blah blah, and then they support Niger You see where Mali and Burkina Faso do. So in the final say, whether not directly or indirectly, then Gaia then they form something like an association.
All right.
And where again it's dangerous for democracy in West Africa.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Okay, continue for the with we Saiku. We they bring another person inside the program quickly. We can join with for the way add for this discussion. Well, this person a person we get wealth of experience in the field of journalism. He now the editor for one newspaper they call Capital Times newspaper. He now the managing editor for the Expo Times newspaper and the Expo magazine. Same way so he now the head of program na one radio station we then call Pan African Student Voice Radio PASV FM we na 89.9. Same way so Sheku this person sorry na a lecturer na for Abe College. His name na Sheku Putka Kamara. Mr. Kamara, welcome to the program this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Sise. Good morning. I'm glad for dinner.
Okay. So, and Mr. Glad for get you for the very first thing. But before we go and join the discussion, we get this traditional question where we can normally ask somebody when they come to the program for the very first time. The program in name na Koles. Yeah. So, the question now, when na the last time we eat Koles?
I think I eat Koles. And that's something I like. I know they always get time for do them every day, but anytime I get the opportunity, I can do them.
So, who's plasas or who's soup where you can like more anytime when you eat Koles?
Normally, I prefer white cassava leaves with oil. Yeah, that is my best one.
Cassava leaves, Salomon and cassava leaves, they're not the parts coming. Anyway, thank you. We hope we can get white cassava leaf from you this morning. Okay, let's start the ball rolling. Now, we see the issue of Niger to go on. And according to so many people, from the observers to some Sierra Leoneans, then the claim say Maada the election where he win, it not been that kind of free and fair because the observers they say the election, especially when it comes to the tabulation. Yeah, it not been transparent. You know, it been surrounded with lots of secrecy. But now we see Coup na Niger and Sierra Leone they be part of this discussion for the coup na Niger. What do you think? You think say we Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and other African states, West African nations, them way they change the constitution for only keep them in power. Get the sabi or the moral high grounds for actually discuss the issue of Niger, where some people they consider and say some of we own democratic government they do it they call democratic coup, using institutions like the police, the military, the electoral commission, the court and other people for able for stay on to power or hold on to power, whilst the military then they use gun for hold on to power. Tell me what do you think about this?
Okay. So I think say the issue but Niger, depending on who that you talk to, a lot of perspectives then go come to play.
Yeah.
But one of the things where I can always say that it depends to the country where you day, whether a democracy, whether a totalitarian regime, we get for understand say waiting no correct, and waiting no right. And like I can always say, what is right and that which is wrong is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
For obvious reasons, when you talk democracies, we get a responsibility not for encourage or tolerate any form of coup.
Mm-hmm.
And like they say, whether na military, whether na you call administrative coup, civilian coup, whatever method person use, where there's no justification, I think say that in a something for condemn.
Mm-hmm.
But when you talk about the position of Sierra Leone in line with what they happen in Niger, I think we would go by constitutionality and by affiliation. Salon a member of ECOWAS, we are the Economic Community of West African States. The other day, the ECOWAS position being clear for giving Niger an ultimatum for UN states, the out. That is something we then sort out because Niger gets in your own territory. And if you see ECOWAS, they threaten, say they will take certain action against Niger now as a result of waiting to happen. But again, you look at the forces. The other day, people, they say something that happened, I still get the Coup Guinea. We not see that kind of issue then they. And sometimes they look at the association. Salon not relatably don't associate themselves with Niger yet, but you notice we are getting as sister nations and there have been affiliations. So sometimes the double standard can question the efficacy of what we can do. And I'm saying this with all seriousness. If you they condemn a certain situation in a certain country,
we're very sorry. The line they connect.
Elections. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So we come back to the issue of elections. Like you rightly mentioned, we get a lot of concerns regarding the just concluded elections in Salon. There have been legitimacy issues, there have been transparency issues, but sometimes in the final they get a justification of actions. The European Union, the EU, they actually ask for partners, not just the ask for the disaggregated data we ECSL for provide. The same thing, the main opposition, the All People's Congress, also asked for the same data. But one of my arguments was that if you get a case where they make, you have a justification of your actions. Let us see the results. Normally, in what we do in journalism, we say let the people in fact speak for themselves. Mm-hmm. If you think say what they don't provide more correct, how can you provide the reality? And I'll show. Standing on one of the issues where some people began, even with some of the observers, like the National Elections Watch knew, we deployed just over 700 observers, and you had thousands of centers. So the question is, how did you get data into those other centers? So, for example, one of the arguments we don't make, it is my assumption the position forgets pooling agents in all the centers, for example. If that is the case, where is the data? Because we not there for the live in suppositions. We do not have to be living in assumptions. The SLPP clearly not remove their own data. Even before the announcement of results, it is clear that both the APC and SLPP claimed victory, whether they even against the laws of the land. Because the Constitution provides that only the ECSL, Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone, only the Chief Electoral Commissioner get the mandate to announce results. Now that the results were announced, we had aggrieved parties. On which grounds were they aggrieved? The argument is most of them be a link up to waiting the EU say another international observers. But ideally, like somebody's mentioned, you are not going to have 100% election where you go say everything is well and good. And in the African setting, in almost all settings, the person who lost the election can always cry foul as a result of certain things. But my concern is, if you're going to cry foul, waiting at the justification, you just cry foul and you don't say they partake in governance like the APC is doing boycotting governance. When you boycott governance, what is the justification? If you say this is also not
another big and serious question. But now the APC don't come say, then go release them disaggregated, figures we didn't get. I mean, the results we didn't get, for let people and see. So we say as we sit down tight one, they wait for that and they for come out, for let we see how the discussion they go on again. But until then, we'll reach to that point. I think none of them not able for justify, not the ECSL not able for justify the results properly, not the observer them, not the political party. Until they reach to that point, we still wait. All right. You there with me?
Exactly. So the point is, if you know, yeah. So the point is, if you're not able to justify them position, then why you they go take a decision where they even question your participation in governance? Now you they see two MPs.
But interestingly, them in the say before this time, before them do, because the one like you rightly said, the one we get responsibility for do that one, the way the law give the right for do that and then ECSL. So then they ask ECSL for do so, but since ECSL for a long time they don't able for do so, then they come now this time around and pull them because now they get reason because the one way they ask when they get the moral responsibility or the constitutional right for do so, not able for do so. So yes, I think if you look at that other way, they then get right for wait this long, and let me wait now and see what thing will happen.
Okay.
All right, so let me go now.
Absolutely understood.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes, just go. I'll give you 2 minutes for Don Onandi.
Okay. So like I say, and like you rightly mentioned, then get the right to take the decision because it's an institution. I mean, they know what they do. So hopefully we come to a conclusion of that. But just quick one on the Niger issue. I think say where there is a crisis, solving the problem now the best means. And you don't have to use force to solve those matters. So when you get ECOWAS, they threaten for taking action against Niger, and chances are you're going to have sister nations really come on board. I think the watchword is to avoid any form of bloodshed because you're going to have innocent civilians, women and children, where they and we possibly not able to understand the implications of what they really happen. But at the end of the day, they're all they suffer the consequences. So I think the decision is to have an amicable result and since things move accordingly in the best interest of all.
Very much. We'll go to the next paper where now the Salon Times newspaper. The Salon Times newspaper gets this big banner headline where them put and this go like this. August 10th commemoration. No justice for the murdered. Perpetrators held. Victims jailed. Let's start with you and Aiko. What do you make up of headline like this from this paper?
It just sad. Again, this is not the stark reality because now 1 month so 1 year since that tragic or unfortunate thing happened in our country. Like you rightly say, like the headlines say, now we see two things there. We see where they kill police officers, they burn down police stations. We see where civilians them being killed again. They kill lot of civilians, them over 20 people. We saw the controversial burial and all that thing in there. But we not see. Okay, we don't see people where they take part during the riot where them being hold, they arrest. We see them, some of them, then jail them. But we not see anybody where they say, okay, they wanna then kill the civilians, them, they we don't put them into trial. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then we not also see particular individuals where they say, okay, now they will kill the police them or like anything. They will not see their actions in there. Now 1 year, we see they constitute a commission for investigate. We see the report come out, but we don't see any action, not to my knowledge. So, but this is not the thing. Sometimes then they constitute some commissions for investigating, but result they come out, then they come out with findings and nothing said, but we know the like as it done, so it don't do. So the one the way they behind that way organizers and all that thing, them be able to bring them to justice. That's now one question. The other question is, okay, what about the one the way kill civilians? How long will encourage people them for just kill Sierra Leoneans then? Because a lot of Sierra Leoneans then die. Some people are inside their homes then die. So how long would they encourage them here, or how long would they just gloss up when they kill people? They will just gloss over certain things as if nothing happened. As in 1 month, 2 months, you don't forget.
Similarly, you will talk about the Paremba where we himself get the same thing. Nobody will not see, and the government not even come out with any report. Instead, the one way they say, now then they investigate, now then come out with a report.
These are the things. Like even let's say the McKinney incident, we see. Because one thing I see yesterday where some people interesting, Sierra Leoneans they get some kind of interesting mentality. When people a set of people in a power or the party in a power, then can become so oblivious on certain things, especially human rights issues and other issues, the way they affect the country negatively. I see yesterday where some man they try for make reference to America. They say somebody I don't know, somebody attack Joe Biden or why the police end up for killer. But now they say Nasalo for don't talk. But now we don't see people, police officers, the way they dismiss, they lock up na America for killing civilians them. But I know they say that not ever happen at Salomo. But let's say for the past 5 years now, how many police officers them we don't kill people them? Take from Tonko Limba incident, take this last voting self. How many police officers then they don't bring to book because of them kill civilians? Then thing in the but sometimes we can like when negative thing not happen on the other side, we use that day for justify the bad thing the way they happen to we. The police in America, they say them I believe are the most brutish police force to and racist police force na the ability in the world. Me that I believe. But see when they bring most of them back to justice, where then do something the way not right, then can bring them and can sack them and jail them. So if not then kind thing and they will not say okay, police, okay, then go be brutal or other thing. But you know me say where then give you gun, then don't give you license for kill. You understand, especially as a military or police officer, you get for take your time, rules then day, standards then day where you for follow. So you don't go just be trigger happy because you get gun. Any have to no more you use the gun for kill people then. So it just sad like 1 year don't pass. We not see much anyway in terms of deterrent or other actions them for take from government.
Okay. Sheku Putka, Mr. Kamal, let me go on. What do you think about this particular issue? Alright, so you get challenged with the line yonder. We're not able for you yet, but we'll ask Cam for let it take him again all over once it can. But please, you will watch right now, don't forget to like and share the program. And we just want to remind you will watch. Right now we get 85,278 people them we don't subscribe to our YouTube channel with over 76,000 Facebook. So thank you very much. But we still get a challenge, and we get the we don't lost Mr. Kamal Ayanda, but we they go back for him and see what we can get from him. Yeah. So we get we get a challenge we for reach 100,000 by October. So you will watch, please now for help we for share, and as well you will not subscribe it, consider for subscribe before that particular time. So yes, we will forget that particular number there. If you not like the program, please consider for like and share as well. We get on the program Sheku, and we as well get Sheku na the program with me this morning, but we don't lost him on the line, and we get another man we very much instrumental in terms of analyzing issue, and same way so we get your platform we in the then and now media empire we in him na cycle day with we instead for talk about the different issues there. We don't lost Sheku na the line first, but if he come back, we go actually continue with the ball rolling. So now let me go. You know, with all of them things that has already happened, cycle. We find out say August inside the country not a good month right now. One way or the other, something must happen, whether natural or artificial. As we talk about different other issues, them now this same August we hear about this people away lost their life. The answer of the security and security officers as well lost their life. Now the answer of the civilian. But again, this same August, we don't hear another alleged attempted coup. Where if I can take you again to some paper, then we I see where I'm not even for no against waiting the police then again. You know, in terms of the number. According to this public review, let's just see if people they actually see them. Let's just project and let people see them quickly. Just okay. Let me let people understand quickly. So according to public review, they get they say 17 police, for alleged coup. Police arrest 17. Then this same, on this same issue, we get this other newspaper when at the apex say subversion, 19 arrested, manhunt continue. So the issue of this, police and the issue of the arrest, now other things in this way we're not to understand, because a lot of things that the police have not too clear about waiting and they give to the public, and so the public they get not the proper understanding or idea of waiting at the real information. So tell me, what do you think about this alleged coup and the arrest of people, and including the issue in Liberia with the former police chief when at ET?
Hello?
Yes, they get you.
Okay, so what is the question again?
All right, so a lot of things them, newspaper reports them. Some will say 19, some will say 17 people they don't arrest for this alleged coup, and the police have not too clear about waiting they happen, and they keep some information, be all in the name of the investigate. And but we see that they arrest different people, including the one at Liberia, when the former police chief. As August, anytime where August come, you see that they say August 10 incident or alleged coup. What do you think about the issue where they unfold itself right now?
Yeah, again, it's just unfortunate. Like, because of the nature of the thing, I not go one for delve deep into it. But like, it's unfortunate. Like, again, then the unfold. It depends from who side you look at. You look at the issues from. So you see immediately after the elections, of course, people may agree. We see this information about coup plot and other things. But like you say, the police they need for the accurate, or not two things. The police they either need for the accurate information as to how many people they don't arrest, or the journalists they need for the correct information, because it will either
so
be
how the journalists then go give when the police they no give?
No, but you go just jump into conclusion saying that the police they not give the correct information. Because now, if you see two newspaper, then they give different account. It will either be that the police they mistake, then give the wrong information, or the journalists then they write the wrong information.
It's possible said in terms of the figure, the journalists then we don't make mistake, but we don't see the police then they appear on several times na radio and television, but yet still they're not they give people the information we they need. All they want for you now waiting them feel say them for you. Well, then get right to that because then they investigate. I'm very sorry, young producer don't take charge as when they hear voice from the background. Very sorry for that distraction there. But that's not the situation right now. Cycle.
Yeah, I know. I understand what you talk about. But again, like we they talk about the headlines first. newspaper then they give different headlines. But again, when it's possible, like in journalism, or they give different headlines and other thing there. But when it comes to figures, now they the issue there. Some man they say 17, some man they say 19.
Yeah.
So yeah, now make they say maybe the journalists then get different understanding of the figures the way the police call, or that mistake will come from them, or the police then are then give on different occasions. Maybe
because, for example, similar issue and awareness times. For example, the other day say police arrest 16, 8 escape. You see the thing? They say police arrest 16 and 8 escape. So this all we're not able to understand exactly what really go on.
Yeah. Again, the police they need for correct these things, because I know feel again. I know anybody with it, because if you use the word escape, meaning now two things: whether they mean don't hold certain person, then he escape from prison or from the detention center, or if they say 8 escape, it's possible back, like, okay, now a suspect, but then now they don't go beyond the jurisdiction of the country where they're not able, or then go hide some side where police they're not able.
Yeah, but wait, look at this thing. The word we use, arrest 16, 8 escape. It means say when they say arrest, they use the word arrest if you're not kind of you earn. In the word of escaping the jurisdiction, that is to say, then a suspect, they get 16 suspects, where out of the 16, 8 don't escape. That one they clear. But if you say arrest, that means say the police or the security forces that we don't get them at the custody, and then they left from the custody.
Yeah, but it depends on how you look at and analyze that particular sentence. There.
Yeah,
If
now
you
just the
say,
word, now just the word arrest. Now they talk
yeah,
about.
so meaning they don't arrest 16, then don't arrest 16. Maybe that 16 the way they arrest they na custody. So eight day where then they search for we don't escape. You
Okay,
understand?
impossible.
So yeah, so but again, I make newspaper them back for being very clear in the headlines. Let them not confuse people, them, you know.
Okay, very critical part. Anyway, the program we still watch now Correct on we are on YouTube and on Facebook, and I also have to discuss the issues then with the front page of the newspaper and the carry. So now look at this other issue, please, cycle. The issue of this fear. This one very serious as we talk so right now because fear, and transportation don't go up. And this week and 24 say fuel increase, but haha, Sierra Leoneans not happy. Let's tell you again, waiting I see from this other paper. Let's just go to scroll through quick one and see if I can able for waiting them. So in other words, the government now they save out of this issue of fuel subsidy, then they save now like $35 million, every year. Let's just see. Let me see if no make mistake out of waiting. I be the talk just now. Let's just scroll quickly and see if I can able foresee that particular thing there. But anyway, let we go. But the problem now, this thing don't create serious problem. Okay, yes, I correct. Government to remove $35 million petroleum subsidy. On the field. What do you think?
Okay, so if this, of course, definitely this one, I believe say that today them publish this newspaper. So if them for remove again like another the subsidies
$35 million, yeah.
Whether the first removal where them be make, they not remove totally, and then now they will remove another one back way maybe left, then Sierra Leoneans then it get for be serious, especially now, say, well, the one the way they salon, because again, like what I've been talk earlier on, people they know the acceptability of the reality on the ground varies from how they say from the political allegiance, the spectrum. So, but if they remove anything again, meaning if the fuel get for maybe be very expensive back, then I wonder how Sierra Leoneans then go live, because as at now, I believe say Sierra Leoneans then they suffer. And now the newspaper headlines like that premier news where you've been talk about way over, or I think 500 or so people, then they go of course fainting then a bomber or who's I say, it's really sad. But this not true thing back. If they remove the subsidies, what in they want do? Who side they want put up? Who side they want the education, agriculture? Again, how long it will take before it positively affects the lives of Sierra Leoneans? So, challenging times ahead. Another year, you.
Okay, sorry. As challenging time they ahead, Kisi dump site, as you already the make say, Kisi dump site now na lifeline, for over 500 service scavengers. In other words, you get over 500 people in right now, according to the newspaper, where with the picture with the still right now. You get over 500 people in where actually they go na that particular bomb day for go pick for let them survive, let them get alive. If government for remove again, then real big problem they na road for the people of this country. But now it don't very clear say all the thing that happen so not as a result of the war or the COVID as alleged. Now because of the subsidy where the government they pull. Now I mean.
Yeah, definitely. All the time, me one thing where I believe, I know they say problem not been deal. I know they dispute that. Of course, I know say the Ukraine and COVID affect the world greatly, but I think it affects Sierra Leoneans them better one. Past most of the countries them. So I see this mentality of politicians them using existing problems then at the world for use them as well. If you want, you say excuse, or you want you call her any other name for cover up their own failures. So again, if government, like I've been saying earlier, well, maybe this go tell you say whether then they get the support where them plant get the tell where them in they continue with the subsidy, or the international community don't seize, or the one then the donor partners then don't reduce for give the support where them plant get. So therefore, where they know they get than they now it make them don't turn back or reduce the subsidies for raise. Because I know say the IMF, one of the conditions where they can give for trust Africa or the world money, or especially Africa, for trust una money or for give or for do anything, one then get for say okay, one thing una say get for do something for generate revenue. So one of the things then now they will tell us say okay, una they put so amount of money for subsidized fuel, una get for reduce dandy. So then get for sometimes government knocking too willing for remove their subsidies, but like sometimes their hands like were tied at the back. So now make them no go able pass they remove their subsidies then they. So you they find out say before Anes Kuruma they left, I believe say similar problem been there between in and the I think IMF for this removal of subsidies. And without these subsidies, the people of the country really they suffer because it don't prove, it don't be right. So if again if that money that they invest in agriculture where end up now some few people in pocket, maybe we go see the positive again impact where it go creating at the lives of Sierra Leoneans.
So,
but how long
even
it go
if they
take?
remove this and put them to agriculture, for example, the Maada in project where you need when at the feed salon, according to a newspaper report yesterday, they need $1 trillion for able to do this.
Yeah, so not a picking business because you find I've been read one article just now where I think where the Africa Development Bank then go monitor, I think Thomas Bomb or other side.
Yes.
They talk about almost million what is a dollar project. So then they ask whether from where they launch that Thomas Bomb, the rice where they don't produce, and you evaluate and you check out now as to what in the impact of that, whose impact that they don't create for the past 5 years. You understand what in the impact where it don't create, it don't reduce the dependency on imported rice or not. What in happen? Who's like you try for check. Sometimes you wonder about not a picking business on a huge project.
Yeah, but that Tomabon project, they according to what we really understand, out of how many $1 million where they spend per annum, will not see it produce anything. Instead, the tractor the way they can go there na grass be the go there, and the people them way actually be support for the work they crying out say they not they getting salary.
Yeah, so when I ask the critical question, one, they check the amount of money where they don't pump the, and then you compare now with the impacts. What are the impact where that project day? Because if them work rest day or other thing there, because at some point we've been see where they say government is waiting say rest being the come on, I don't know from whose side, but what are the impact? That's the big question they ask. Them project and they them million dollar project them. What are the impact it don't create in the lives of Sierra Leoneans? Like not only because some people then go begin to say, hey, no, not a government they feed policy. Nobody ever advocate for the government feed people them directly. But would they advocate for the government create a conducive environment for Sierra Leoneans them for enable them for strive, for enable them for survive. But in this case, if government they receive donor, whether not through grant or other thing from international development partners, then say, okay, now would they make farm? So definitely that rest where they come out from there. Sierra Leoneans them for able access than they if be affordable, then for able buy all the rest for available at the market so that Sierra Leoneans the way you are rest, they go buy them.
Okay. So let please touch on the last issue for this morning, where now the issue we come up from Voice of Salone. For breach of agreement, NGC to drag SLPP to court. sorry that's a laugh.
Yeah, but this issue, again, like you've been talked earlier, me, well, I can elect for, of course, always elect for right. Well, right, I've been done right over this, I've been done right on this issue several times. In fact, even before the Tewe KKY been saying, he go Saudi Arabia on that Umrah because he want to take some kind of critical decision. So, but I've been giving my own article. I make analysis on. I start from how Charles Magai and the APC being come into voting self, how they end up, and Charles Magai and Maada Bio, how they end up. And then I say, okay, I caution in the KKY. So later we see the strategic alliance. When I read the agreement, then I ask questions, say, I still remember how strategic is the strategic alliance. So I ask several questions on for when the feeling candidates them, because they say them for harmonize them, like them forget one manifesto for use for campaign during the elections, them go get candidate them. So I mean, they ask.
Even say who say one person in contest, other person not for contest day.
Exactly. I ask now whether the SFPP go contest na NGC then stronghold, or whether the NGC go contest na SFPP then stronghold. So I ask all them thing in the how the message, let's say if in the campaign, what the NGC go say, una vote for me, let's say in the campaign at the NGC then stronghold. SFPP go say, okay, una vote for the NGC candidate, or you know, those are the critical things. But when I've been they ask them question, they of course, again, now the usual thing in the attack you, blast for you.
But we see the might not go far. We see NGC and SLPP contest na NGC they own stronghold, beat kind of Yumkela and take the position at the end. Now they don't say they forgive them, some key position, the ministerial, deputy, heads of departments, ambassadorial position. But we just see them give them first one win at the chairman position of NIG and environment and so and so.
Yeah, so now the same thing like I be the candidate now. So after the president don't appoint the first or second list, where almost been don't cover almost everything. So I was compelled as well to ask again. So okay, what now they don't comply with this agreement, because I think now 12, but the agreement where they sent to the public.
Number 12.
I think number 12 where they talk about, they mention, say, okay, the NGC get for recommend people them for lay the president appoint, like, okay, they say example, ministers, deputy ministers, ambassadors, then thing in the head of parastatals and then thing in the. So, okay, as long as they include ministers and deputy ministers. So I was compelled to ask, because if they not be if they may exclude minister and deputy ministers, an officer then forget that as an example. So based on that, I ask, say, okay, based on the ministers, the way they appoint so far, now how many NGC then did it? So again, like usual, then will come after you, how some man will begin come modernize the argument, say, no, win a country first, this, that, but this is an agreement where we have been a dance for. You will see how KKY is happy dance. So
yes.
It dance better one year Maada Bio than dance now. I think even VP Jules, I see where they dance for the first time, Yeah, so they all been the dance. So they signed that agreement in front of all over, like Sierra Leoneans around the world, because people have been they watch me, self in the watch up. So if that agreement the way una don't celebrate so much, then now when I say, okay, the objective now for let Maada Bio win. Now when I say Maada Bio don't win, so Sierra Leoneans, they must go be concerned for ask about the compliance, whether they don't comply with this agreement, especially now the owners there on Maada Bio, because again, na two things, then say subject to the president in approval. So the NGC for said names then, now the president get the last say, like for approve or not for approve. So I ask question now. Una been send name the president reject. How many names una send if he say he reject? How many names?
If they not call them for send name, how they will send name?
No, but again, that don't mean say you go ask the critical question. When you they ask, We not go say they not send names because we know how the secret can happen. So now we don't
But
see.
again, let me look at this thing. A lot of time, people that don't say Kanda Yunkela just concerned about himself. They just think about what he can benefit and nobody else. Like for example, the time where if they try for take this decision where they come out and tell people and say if not for the $100 or you win in the game. You know, so now Kanda Yunkela don't sign agreement and they don't go there with other people. But now we see say he don't get position already where he say happy with. So you think say he will actually advocate for the rest of a membership, or he will just be that kind of careless person again? I don't care again.
Yeah, so well, the next question I've been asked now, where I wish I've been able to read that article there. One way say, well, NGC may take or to take the SLPP to court or something like that for that agreement.
Yeah.
So you go ask now, okay, who's part of the NGC? Because I believe say the enthusiasm, the how can them then don't talk, say the love of the country first, this, that, you don't embrace in your own appointment where they get. So this same person here, now you get for lead the one the way get for say, okay, now we want for enforce this agreement. He get advantage. In fact, the election results, the critical thing the way they ask, the elections results make really he get voice now for challenge the presidency. Okay, you know why you get for what he even bring at the table in the first place during the elections. Because if somebody there, if the NGC lost all their seats, so what in the proof say them bring any they add any values to them?
In your opinion, I think say them contest USA self contest them beat and they follow them show and say you don't even get value.
Yeah. So now I make they ask now, they ask say now, what in go get the voice for challenge the presidency? Oh, will be now who help you for win? How you go prove that when you self no win you don't sit there?
Okay.
Yeah, so these are the critical questions. So I wonder now who's NGC. Maybe again we will end up for see a split, more split. If you be say like newspaper then don't begin come out with say okay NGC them maybe then go take SAPP to court for enforce that agreement or what you say. So now we go see split. The one the way don't benefit already because one mentality of Sierra Leoneans.
Where you benefit, you don't care.
Yeah. Some people learn about themselves. It's about
so
me.
This make I will ask you this question. If they tell me about something, focus, leadership, and tell me about that again. Because that is very important for people. Now they will fail, and I will tell you for real. Most people now, where for example, na APC, where they grumble so right now because of some things that really happen. When them they na power, if them in kind of power, they want to do that same thing and will tell you back say na so now be don't do. The same thing with SLPP. When them be there in opposition, APC they do some things them where we know about as a journalist then telling it, what we don't the report on, them be the cry and APC be the gladdy. Now na then them. Now just that kind of mentality then now we get. So tell me about this kind of mentality because for we you get even the position where you say Salon people and most of them get vulture mentality. But we will come to that. Tell me about your thing when you talk about.
Yeah. So I mean they talk about waiting and call if a country for go before. Now two elements that I believe say get a greater role or great role for play in it. One, you get what you call focused leadership. The leadership for be focused. Una get una goals, una get una objective, what you una want do. Una focus on that and una get the critical masses. People the way they look at issues critically, take decision based on the fact way they prevail. Now we don't see most of them here lacking. We see leaders then they promise, then they deviate of promoting them promise, then they talk say would they do XYZ. If you check the manifesto there, they find out say they know they do what in them they really promise, or at least they know they accomplish what in them promise. So if they find out say the leadership they're not in focus, or they will tell you say well we come, they come, I know say you producer they try the better one. So you they find out say where the leaders then come. Like instead of focusing on delivering, you find out say what thing they do as they can power the next way then they fight for how for win the next elections. So whether if that involved for silence the opposition, is if that involved for change the laws, try for do some kind kukujumuku things, then cook up election census and other thing there. You dey find out say now that more than they focus on than for deliver what them we promise. Lot of African leaders then are so then they not about only Sierra Leone. So you dey find out back the masses now then your side. Now the masses wait them for take decision based on the promise and the delivery of the political party them. For judge them based on that, you find out a lot of them, somebody where they get a stipend. You know care, you know what is how them begin play music. You don't forget about all this, you don't lose focus, and you know critical again for analyze issues. Quick, where somebody talk something where you party, where they na power, do wrong thing, somebody say this is wrong. Then begin attack. Oh no, you not the opposition, you not like this government, or you not like we know. Una for take critically, una for look at issues them. This person don't promise this. Like how we been talk this now. Example, we don't get how many millions of dollars where them pump na the Toma Bomb project. So a critical mass is now go analyze. Okay, how many una don't pump inside? So what will happen? What are the outcome? What are the output of this farming project? Whose impact this don't create na the lives of ordinary Sierra Leoneans? It's not about saying, okay, we can't put, no, nobody know they advocate for that, for say, we can't put food na people on table. But what you wanna promise, what you wanna don't spend, una don't able deliver, it don't create impact, it commensurate to what you, the impact way una create, it commensurate to what you wanna don't spend. So these are the questions una for ask una self. Government don't promise say would they okay, like would they feed una or would they give una electricity? How many billions they don't spend? How many? What are the output of that? So una analyze them thing and thing. That's a critical masses. Una look at governance issues. Una look at issues from non-partisan level, or at least una reduce the partisan business. Una put the country in interest really first, not to that fake country first. So where some man just they do them for suit their own comfort.
You know, since you talk about that fake country first day, you know, you make I go back to this issue of Kanda Yunkela. Then say country first, but at the 12th part of the clause, then talk say then for share power. So it means say now waiting they can benefit first. Thank you very much for joining the program today.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So now then thing and then go argue, say, okay, of course we want be because we get fantastic ideas, we get voting self, we get zeal, and we get the energy, the zest for deliver, for work for a country. Now that make mean say when you say country first, will not for be part of governance. Then go tell you say who say one contribute. That's idea. I go argue and that way because me they look at it differently. Then go argue and that way. But now again, that no mean say the agreement they not for when country first no mean say we una don't make an agreement, una not for they not for comply, they not for go by within the agree. Otherwise, now for tomorrow would I go get mind say okay, I will go into agreement with any leader. If they not say the leader they where they get within they want, they no go honor the waiting self, the agreement.
All right. Thank you very much, Aiko, for joining me inside the program today. We appreciate your time always, and we appreciate your analysis where you always don't give me inside the program. Well, we look forward again for get another very important and fruitful discussion with you. Until then, I wish you all the best in your private life, and as well on the same thing where we all do together in the interest of the country Sierra Leone. And I want to confess that myself they admire the kind of work they do. Really they try in terms of bringing people there when they discuss the issue in terms of one thing and a monologue they do extremely well, and that's why we all just get for do we only little things in different ways for let we able to see that we reach to the country. That's why yesterday we tell them say in as much as Maada don't bad, don't kill, don't do other things, then possibility they still get opportunity because any I look I'm still in a position and possibility they for a change. But if you not change again, then of course the people them get forget the kind of other mentality where you talk about. If them as the leader not get the focus mentality or focus mind for able for do something, then the people them get for continuously get written and called the critical mind. But unfortunately, it's too sad that we self not get critical mind. All we care about now we party. If we party win today, that's it. We not get anything again. What think about the country.
I just want bring team before I go. Like one of the things that like been they read where the ECOWAS, no, the Commonwealth lady been they talk about. So been they talk about interesting to what I find very interesting. Where even they talk about some institutions them for say institution them for be function that now way for democracy and for strive.
So the leadership as well.
Yeah, I find that thing they hypocritical from the Commonwealth Secretariat. Because one, to me, it's not about institutions them for exist. It's about them for do the right thing. You understand? Then can function, institution they function. Okay, let's just read something now, before I go then say, well, the lady say, today I call on all to honor the terms of that commitment where the leaders them be signed, that Bintumani agreement. He says, so the democratic process requires calm and responsible leadership, like what will be they say just now, and functioning institutions, a commitment to justice and the rule of law, and an active collective choice to unite rather than to divide. So it caught me in mind. So it's not about what you wouldn't see, where they try for gauge certain things, then certain values, democratic values in our country, then they try for say, okay, you they see for just tick that box, they then say, okay, we'll get this institution in the work. But that institution, they get in mandate. The institutions then they do what they're supposed to do.
Well, I think saying that it basically mean. Well, for me, the building can there and they get people inside there, but not actually the focus, not actually the function. So because it gets orders from above, it gets some powerful forces that really control them. So I think saying that they mean by functioning institution. Because for example, you get an institution and like my main country, they also offend themselves. So where you get, even the local council, they function very well and they're very much effective. Then they run the affairs off the state or the city where they and it's very much effective. Anything where they do not through the local council, so that is functioning, you know. But in the case of we get local government, for example, where they exist, but it not the function because all what they care about like the central government will do all what they're able for do for make sure so they disable that particular local government. So I'm pretty sure that is the desire for say.
Yeah, but that's why educated people they need for question certainty. Like where somebody like we, that's why we are educated. What it make we learn book. Now for little make difference, little ask questions because now if you they take your standard because most of the weight man then they take because then certain things they know they expect them for happen maybe then they take their standard for judgment because then somebody can challenge the council, somebody can challenge somebody can challenge other institutions. Me I don't challenge our council on what is I challenge them. Meanwhile, I write me argument, I quote me cases and the case law and what is I win.
And then you look at them, yes.
Yeah, I say I win. First, when they can say I don't lost the case, later they say, but I get right for appeal within 21 days. I appeal. I quote say you lost them, I argue them, then I win. What are they trying for say in essence? Like now, if they say functioning now, is it really functioning in that sense? We institutions them. It's not about establishing institutions. It's about for make them do what they're supposed to do, what are the mandate, and within the way for let them work effectively well and create the necessary and desired impact on the lives of citizens. Them.
Thank you very much, Aiko, for joining me for the program today. And I want to tell thank you to all the one that will watch, we don't share, we don't like the program. If you don't like it, please consider for do so. And you will not subscribe it, please consider for do so, before you go. Thank you very much. We appreciate you one more time, and God bless you. Get yourself a wonderful day, sir.
Thank you so much. You are welcome, my brother.
Okay. And the producer for this program, na Ile Sabah. Thank you very much. I want for still remind you that say on Monday the program not the cancel now because on Monday, starting this Monday with the cancel, we actually they go on a break and a very short vacation, and then we come back after that. And until then, I love you also so much. Journey again on net as we had to come to you this net Saturday and Sunday. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how sneeze again what go today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala na we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes.